probably going to be hard to hear me too. I don't know if it's going to come through. I'll wait for somebody to come in first. Let me know that they can hear me. So I can get confirmation on that first. Share this shit out or nothing. I don't even know if you can share it out. I don't know. Hopefully, okay, here you go. Okay, I'm back. I'll wait to get somebody in here so they can know that they can hear me or not. I don't, like I said, I don't even know if they can hear me. I don't even know if they can hear me or not. Oh, Ricardo said I'm loud and clear. Okay, all right. I just wanted confirmation. Like I said, I don't really like doing live through YouTube Live, but, you know, it's kind of cumbersome to try to set up a show on StreamYard being right, and you know what I'm saying? StreamYard be having all kind of connection issues and all this shit right here, man. So, apologize for any background noise or anything like the engine rumbling or whatever, because it's not coming through my headset. I know the noise is probably like kind of crazy, but Ricardo said I'm loud and clear, so I'm gonna run with that. So I listened to Blackson live. Well, I caught part of it. Like I said, I was working on the trailer and getting it set up so I can head on down the road. I came in and said, what's up to the chat? And immediately he asked me a question. Immediately. I guess it was in the context of what he was talking about, right? And he asked me, was the war in Iran illegal? And he said, you know, it ain't no type of complex question. Not a trick question. Is it yes or no? And then he went on to say that you know, Congress knew about it, which I agree with, and I'll give the reasons why I know that they knew about it here in a second. He said that Congress knew about it, and you know, therefore it's not illegal. Is it illegal war? Yes or no? Like, I just need a yes or no answer. And then he had something to do, so we left. But I left in the comments, well, it kind of is a trick in order to declare war on another nation. That's first and foremost, right? But look at the complexities surrounding the, I guess you would say, the joint conflict with Israel and the United States. Just take a look at it. You know? Also, what you can do, go back into history and see how we did it all the other time. It's really all you got to do, because we've done it multiple times, including under Obama and Bush and so on and so forth. Fun fact, and me and Bank had talked about this a few weeks ago. The last time Congress approved a declaration of war was World War II. Fascinating. I mean, just fascinating. Over 80 years ago. Over 80 years it's been since Congress actually authorized a declaration of war. That's just a fact. Now, logic would say, well, what about all the other times? That shows the lengthy history of the illegality of all the conflicts we've been. Well, yes and no. The next war you had was what? Korean War. How did Truman get us into the Korean War? Well, it wasn't under Congress, but it was under the United Nations Security Council. United Nations Security Council authorized a joint coalition between the Security Council nations, a use of force, or use of military force in the conflict of North and South Korea. So that included the United States. So in the sense of the question, was that illegal? No, it wasn't illegal because it was authorized through an international body, the United Nations. Then I guess you would say Vietnam. Well, what happened with Vietnam? Congress didn't authorize that. Well, again, yes and no. They didn't authorize it in the conventional sense of a declaration of war. No, they didn't. But they did authorize it through a resolution passed through the House and the Senate. The Token Gulf Resolution, giving the president authorization to use military force in Vietnam. Specifically, it wasn't a bill that set precedent for the future. No, it was a bill specific to the Vietnam War. Then you had the Gulf War. Well, how did we get into the Gulf War? Well, Congress passed yet again. Now, they did this twice. They did it twice. Congress passed what they call AUMF, authorization of use of military force, for the Gulf War specific to Gulf tensions. Specific. Precedent was set for the legislation of the act itself, but the bill was not meant to be long withstanding to other shit in the future. It was specific to the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm. They did it again after 9/11. Congress passed the authorization, use of military force. I think it officially passed in 2002. That specifically gave use of military force to nations, whether it was directly or indirectly, a cause of the tragedy of 9/11. Now, you can make an argument that a lot of that shit was based on bullshit, which we know it was. None of these had anything to do with the declaration of war at any point in time. So, yes, it's a question. Now, the president says, or let's say consensus says, that this conflict in Iran is illegal. Based on the history of everything that I just told you, I would say yes, because not only have we not had a declaration of war, we have not had any resolutions go beyond to the floor of the House nor the Senate to authorize specific use of military force in Iran. We just haven't had it. So in that context, yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal as hell. Huh. But to Blackson's point, he said just the very knowledge of Congress knowing about the conflict in Iran weeks, even probably months ahead of time, justified the act. I don't agree with it, but I do understand the sentiment of what he's trying to say. Check this out. Senator Blumenthal, weeks before the first initial strike on that fateful Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, was coming out having press conferences about things that he was getting as far as military intelligence on Iran. And he was telling us what was going on, right? telling us what was going on. In my mind, I'm like, hold on, because I ain't no political pundit in the sense that I know about everything, but at least I know when the Pentagon gives military and intelligence briefings to Congress, it usually involves the Gang of Eight. The Gang of Eight being, of course, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, the Senate Majority Leader, Thune, both floors minority leaders, which would be Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Then you got like the chairs and co-chairs of the intelligence community. I think one of them is Hines. Tom Cotton is another one, and there's a couple more, right? I know that the Gang of Eight gets these intelligence briefings based on certain shit that's happening global with our intelligence community. Senator Blumenthal ain't part of the Gang of Eight. Yet Senator Blumenthal was the one that I mostly saw. I ain't saying that he gave the most press conferences after the briefing, but on TV I usually saw Blumenthal prior to the initial strike. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Blumenthal ain't part of the Gang of Eight. But he is part of the Armed Services Committee. I think he's a co-chair in the Armed Services Committee. That was an indication, letting you know something about to happen. That was an indication. With Blumenthal not being part of the Gang of Eight, yet he was the one mostly viewed on giving us a rundown from a non-confidentiality standpoint, what was going on in these intelligence briefings was telling. Telling. So, in the sense of knowledge of the situation, Blackson is 100% correct. Correct. But from the sense of legality, it's still based on everything that I just told you of the history behind Congress and other entities giving authorization for military force. This shit is illegal as hell. Illegal as hell. So, that's just what it is. Now, that don't mean that you turn around and do the whataboutism. Because we know there have been other situations under other presidents where you can use that same argument. I'm not denying that. I'm not running interference for no other president. If shit is illegal, it's illegal. Now, this might be, right? This might be possibly one of the biggest conflicts that we've been in that didn't involve some type of cooperation toward Congress. I think this situation is bigger than Libya. It's bigger than Benghazi. You know what I'm saying? It just is. It's bigger than Trump won with the strikes in against Soleimani and al-Baghdadi, and it's bigger than all that. That's just a fact. So yes, it is a trick question. Because there's complexities to Congress giving, or any other body for that matter, giving authorization of military force. Now you can finagle it, but Trump ain't even did that. So putting the question in its proper context results to an answer of yes, it's illegal. Putting it in the context that you tried to put it in, Blackson, because your explanation behind the reasoning of it not being illegal is because Congress had knowledge of it. I don't disagree with that. Congress had, and when I say Congress, I'm talking about the necessary entities within Congress. All of Congress didn't know it, but the Gang of Eight knew about it. The Armed Services Committee knew about it. The people who needed to know, they knew. That's just a fact. I don't disagree with you on that. But does that constitute authorization? Hell no. Hell no. So that's just what it is. I think sometimes, you know, especially in the MAGA maniac space, again, like I said last week, man, they dig themselves into a hole trying to MAGA-splain shit. You know, and they end up using reverse tropes. What do I mean by reverse tropes? They end up using an explanation that when it came to other presidents was the reverse of what they said in the first place. No new wars is a thing, man. America first is a thing. What's happening right now is the very antithesis of that. That's just a fact. It ain't me saying it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't me saying it at all. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. What's the justification? That's the ultimate question that we got to ask ourselves. What's the justification? You know? Then you turn around and say, well, we can alleviate a lot of this pressure just by allowing Russia to sell oil to the east. Well, I'm going to do a show tonight. I was supposed to have TFP tonight. I'm not going to do TFP tonight. I was thinking about doing it by myself just later because, again, my schedule is all fucked up, man. It's all fucked up. It seems like every Thursday, man, it's some bullshit. I get fucking trailers later and later and later. I had to beg for this one because initially they told me, oh, the trailer ain't gonna be ready till 1 o'clock. I'm like, what type of shit is that? So I had to beg for this trailer I got now just so I can leave a little bit early so I can get home a little bit earlier tomorrow. I shouldn't have to do that. So it's gonna be some changes on Tape Fist Politics. We already came to an initial agreement about Wednesday night. Probably be a better night for everybody. So probably starting next week, we're gonna start doing Tape Fist Politics on Wednesdays, man. That's probably gonna be a better day for me. simply because that's my way coming back to Georgia. And shit just work out better on the Georgia side of my run than on my Florida side. So chances are next week, Tape's Politics will be Wednesday night. And going forward, that'll probably be the night that we do it. And it might even be earlier, depending on how I got my schedule and the third. Now, hey, you're right, man. This shit, it drains your energy when shit don't go the way that it's supposed to go. That's when it drains, like, at least for me, that's when it drains my energy. That's when it drains my energy, man. You know, I'm a dedicated, I don't OER, I don't do that shit no more. You know, it's unpredictable, you know what I'm saying? You always got kinks in the armor and wrenches in the cars and shit. When you're a dedicated driver, man, it's supposed to be, hey, look, point A to point B, back to point A. You know what I'm saying? But this damn aluminum plant, man, they be tripping, man. They be half-assing on the trailers. Loading trailers, be overweight. They tell you a certain time a trailer's supposed to be ready, and it's ready hours. Like, nah, bro. Y'all need to get this shit together. Y'all need to get this shit together, man. This is insane. So, you know, because of that, again, like I said, chances are Tape's Politics is going to be on a new day, possibly at a new time. You know, I may just stick to the 8:30 because that gives me time to, like, you know, freshen up, take a shower, whatever, eat, and all that shit. You know, y'all got to understand, like, I be in my truck and, like, I need time to, like, you know, like, get straight. A lot of times I don't even have that, especially over the course of these last few weeks, you know. But depending on how I feel tonight, I may just do a Thought Box Live, because I really want to talk about this whole situation with Russia and the effects moving forward if Russia becomes that dominant force in the East, and what it means about, again, we talked about the global hegemon that is the petrodollar. You know? So I may end up talking about that tonight. It all depends on how I feel, man. It all depends on how I feel. You're right, it'd be unprofessional, man. It'd be unprofessional as hell, man. Like, we supposed to have a certain schedule that we run, man, and like, they just don't give a damn about it. Like, at all. They just don't give a damn. You know? They don't give a damn at all. You know, my son got my van, right? My son got my van. My girl, she got her car. She works overnight. She works overnight schedule. I shouldn't have to, like, when I get back to Georgia, I shouldn't have to call either my son or my girl who's asleep at the time, say, hey, come pick me up. I want to come home or whatever, and then it's gonna be like a quagmire trying to get me back to my truck. So I just sleep in my truck, right? Every now and again I go home. It all depends. Like if my son ain't got to go to school next morning, he'll come get me, you know, and I'll chill out, and then he'll drop me off in the morning or whatever. But because of how everybody's schedule is, man, I'm like, fuck it, man, I'm just sleeping in my truck. You know what I'm saying? Like, the yard for my company is in Gainesville, Georgia. So You know, I usually just chill in Gainesville or whatnot. And then I come home. Sometimes I come home Wednesday, go back out Thursday, and then come back home for the weekend Friday. But because of how these schedules been these last few weeks, I ain't even been doing it. I ain't even been doing it. You know? It just got me all fucked up. You know, and it's not the company I work for. It ain't their fault. It's the company that we contracted to. It's the aluminum plant fault. It's their fault. They fucking lazy. And they half-ass. That's just a fact. You know? But I ain't gonna trip on it. Like I said, man, I get paid every Friday, so. I get paid every Friday, bro. But, like I said, it's in a couple of weeks, I'll be on spring break. I'm going to Panama City with my kids. We're gonna be chilling on the beach, so at least I can look forward to that. Because I need to recharge the batteries, man. I need to recharge the batteries. You know what I'm saying? But back to what I was saying. Again, if you look at the question that was asked to me by Blackson in the proper context, there ain't no black and white answer, man. It's just not. Really, ultimately, what it is you trying to justify something that the president that you voted for is doing. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Now, I'm noticing something here. When I do live with my camera on StreamYard, it be shaking like a motherfucker. But I'm not really seeing no shaking on YouTube Live. So YouTube Live might be played from here on out. It might be. I mean, I can see my phone physically shaking, but like I don't see like the camera instability like I do on StreamYard with YouTube Live. What y'all think? Like, is the camera shaking like what as y'all watching? Because it don't look like it's doing it to me. Yeah, it don't. Yeah, great quality. Yeah, and it looked better too. That's a fact. You know, and this is the selfie camera, so yeah, man, YouTube Live might be the play from here on out. Because like I said, man, I've been enjoying doing these live while I'm riding down the road. I've been enjoying them, you know what I'm saying? Just giving my thoughts on and takes on different shit. YouTube Live might be the play, man. Blackson might have it right the whole time. That don't mean I'm gonna get rid of StreamYard or nothing, because I mean StreamYard is a good tool to present information and whatnot. Because y'all know I don't like just babbling. You know, I'll babble, don't get me wrong. But it's certain points in time where babbling ain't enough. You got to provide the people with the information. So for that, StreamYard is a essential tool. At least for the stuff that I want to do, you know. It's essential. It's essential. So let's run it down one more time. The last time Congress, in and of itself, declared war on another nation was World War II. That was the last time. Since then, we had Korean War. That was a UN Security Council resolution. Vietnam, that was Congress passed. Okay, I'm back. That was Lyndon B. Johnson during Vietnam. Then Bush, Operation Desert Storm, that was authorization of use of military force resolution. Then again, 9/11, the other Bush,
In 2¼ miles, keep left.
Authorization of the use of military force, specifically for the Middle East and those involved in 9/11, which was bullshit. I'm not denying that. Then you had all the other stuff with Obama and Benghazi and Libya, and then you had Trump won with taking out IRGC people and top commando Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, with Al-Qaeda and ISIS. None that like that. That's when you start getting in the weeds. And essentially, this is the same situation. I would give it a W if they had at least passed some type of authorization to Trump, giving him the green light on operations. They didn't even do that. So once again, in its proper context, yes, it's illegal. Illegal as hell. In its historical precedent, you have to look at other factors, which don't exist in this situation. But I understand the sentiment. Congress did know about it. The Gang of Eight knew about it. The Armed Forces Committee, Armed Services Committee knew about it. Weeks ahead of time.
Keep left, then keep right.
So, you know, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. You know, but not having the proper conversation, like, a lot of people just don't know that shit. That's why it's important to have the right conversation. You know.
Keep right.
Max said, remind me of Nup 7 old days. What, riding down the road doing the battle? Shout out to Angel stepping up, man. Shout out to Angel stepping up. That's my guy.
Continue on route.
I wish he would do more consistent content. I'm gonna tell you, man, a few months ago, Talik was doing a video. He was doing a live doing something, and I had contacted him, man. I said, hey, listen, man, all the shit me and you went through under the bridge, you know, so on and so forth. You know, I still hold to the fact that I believe a lot of what I do was inspired by what you do. And I say, hey, man, look, man, you want to do a show? Like, you know, I give you your own platform. I give you tools, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't really do content like that no more. You know, I do it every now and again. I'm like, I understand. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I do wish Nup did more consistent content. Because his perspective is needed. You know, I've always said I find similarities in his philosophy with my philosophy. I've always said that. You know, everything ain't 100% mirror to mirror, you know what I'm saying? But it's some stuff that he say that coincides with what I believe. You know? He said the Soul Train will roll again. Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to Talib, right? Shout out to him, bro. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to come up on here and answer the question because I knew Blackson had to get off. So, I mean, that's my answer. It is a complex question. It's nothing cut and dry about it. Like nothing at all. You know, if we're just talking about under the procedures of Congress, if we're talking about it from that aspect, it's illegal as hell. If we're just talking about it from that aspect, Now, I just gave you historical outliers that sets a precedent of the overall broad scope of what authorization is. I just gave them to you. We haven't seen those aspects of authorization yet. That ain't to say that we ain't gonna see it at some point in time. It all depends on how far the escalation goes. And just yesterday, it escalated even further with the Iranian strike on the Qatari LNG storage facility. Blew it to hell. And immediately the markets reacted. Immediately. You know, if I do the show tonight, I'll be discussing, is the lifting of some Russian sanctions giving them basically an off-ramp of the constriction of the Russian economy, is that justifiable in this context of possibly having a global economic crisis based on what's going on in Iran? Is it justifiable? The Europeans say no, which is ironic, because the Europeans are probably the most to benefit if the pipelines open back up for Russia. So why are they saying no to it? I'll give you the reason why tonight if I do a show. That's why I always tell folks, man, look, when you deal with certain military conflicts, man, you gotta peel the layers of the onion back to understand what's really going on. And some people just not willing to do it for some odd reason. I don't know why. You know, they believe that the individual aspects are meant to be dealt with individually. No, war ain't never worked like that. Like ever in the history of war, it ain't never worked like that. So that's what I'm telling you. So depending on how I feel tonight, after everything's said and done, I get my trailer and I park or whatever, I eat and all that shit. I'll probably just do MD Thought Box Live. Dealing with the impacts of the Iran war from an economic standpoint and what Russia gains to benefit with the lifting of sanctions, and why other countries still oppose, and what it could mean for, again, you know, that's a word of the week, global hegemony, what it can mean for that. You know, some people believe that this is some type of evil plot under the guise of Israel. I don't believe that. That's just me. I don't, you know, I think people give Israel too much responsibility and control. I'm not saying they ain't got none, but I don't think it's what like people perceive it to be. Like at all. You know, you talk about Ukraine and their reliance on certain amenities that other countries give them. Israel is the #1 country being coddled by the United States and other nations. #1. Come on, man. What you doing, bro? You don't know how to fucking break? This is what I deal with every day, y'all. Let me see if I can flip this camera. I wish y'all people would just stop coming to Atlanta, man. This is what I deal with. Oh, you can't see it. I'm on 85 right now in Gwinnett. It don't matter what time of day it is. don't matter. 85 South going into the city, headed toward 285. Every day, bro. The same shit. Like, I know you can't see it because the damn shit right there. And I sit in this all the way to damn near McDonald. Well, no, it'll ease up once I hit 285. But then I go to 75 South, going into Henry County and all that, and then start back up, and then it'll ease up. Same thing coming back up from Florida. As soon as I get into McDonough 75, traffic. 285 going on the eastern part of the perimeter, traffic. 85 Gwinnett County, traffic. Sick of it, man. And it be for no reason, like at all. No reason whatsoever, man. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Let me see if I can lift this shit up. I don't know if I can lift it up high enough so y'all can see it. It's insane, man. It's insane. So, you know, when I trip plan and you know, figure out what time I'm gonna be where, I got to take into account at least an hour in traffic. I got to take that into account. Because of this. I'm sick of it, man. Yeah, Jesse, man. And like I said, it's just this area of 85. It's just this area. Once you pass into Norcross, like I said, going into the city, the shit is ridiculous, man. That's why I'm kind of glad, like, I don't live in the city. Like, I couldn't bear it, bro. I couldn't bear it. I could not bear it, man. Hey, I love Atlanta, bro, but not that much, man. Not that much, bro. Not that much, man. I'm glad I live and even where I live at, because again, the urban sprawl of just the metro area, man, is ridiculous. Where I live at now, in Beaufort, Georgia, where I live at, this is my ancestral home. You know, take that on my mama's side, that's my ancestral home. That's where all my family come from. When I was little, Beaufort was the country. Nothing but woods and sticks and all that shit. That's how it was when I was little. Now I hate going to Walmart or the mall because the traffic is ridiculous. I live maybe 5 minutes away from the Mall of Georgia. It take me anywhere from on the weekends, if I want to go to the mall, whatever, it take me anywhere 15, 20 minutes to get basically 3 to 4 miles. I'm like, man, come on, man. This shit is ridiculous. And again, the development of the city itself is ridiculous. They about to get ready. Like I said, my goal, this is my goal. My goal is to, after my kids, the only reason I'm up here is because of my kids, right? And where they choose to be at as far as school, blah, 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 all of that. My goal is, because I don't want to live in Beaufort, like permanently. My goal is, when my twins graduate from school, finally buy a home. Somewhere relatively closer to the city. You know, I would love to go back to where I'm from, Decatur, which is Atlanta, basically. The east side of town. But it's so many places that done got developed to the point where they done outpriced a lot of niggas out. That's just a fact. Even where I live at now in Buford, man, you got homes, man, going for $700,000-800,000. I mean, just a regular house. Ain't nothing special about it. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? A lot of they got to do with, again, the school district, but just the overall urban sprawl of the community. You know, and that's just what it is. I'm not paying no $800,000 for no regular 2-story house, bro. It's not happening. With a moderately sized yard. Like, what? Why would I do that? That's crazy. That's insane.
2.25 miles, exit right.
Where I grew up in city of Decatur, when my granddad sold the house that we all grew up in, they demolished the house, redeveloped. The house sold for $1 million. $1 million. And it ain't nothing special. It's just the area. They gentrified the fuck out of it. That's just what it is. You know? But we've already had this conversation before. Again, we revere our ancestors and our elders and what they were able to do in their generation, creating a community, a middle-class black community. But they failed at the upkeep, man. They failed at the maintenance of the community. They just did. And I think they know that. They know it. They failed. There would be no justification had they done what they had to do as far as the upkeep of their house. It's one thing buying a house, it's another thing to make sure it keep up with the Joneses, which is part of having a home. Like, it ain't something that you just ignore. Unfortunately, the past generations ignored it. And then those said homes became dilapidated, and you know, it's like when you total a car. The cost of the damage of the car is more than the value of the car itself. You know, I'm not gonna pay to bring a house up to code and make sure it's up to a modern standard when I can just buy another house. My granddad just passed last year in November. He sold the house that we grew up in Decatur and moved into a house that was passed down to him by his dad in the West End. Prime real estate. A block away from the Beltline. Prime real estate. The house is dilapidated. The house is in my, well, I'm power attorney. It's my house now. I'm not paying for the upkeep of that house. I'm selling it. And on top of that, I'm going through all kind of hoops and shit because he got a reverse mortgage on the fucking house and did nothing to it. Again, I love my granddad, man. I love him to death. He taught me shit about being a man. I can't deny that. But he failed. He failed at the upkeep of the house. He just said, hey, look, I can sell this house and live in this one and have money. You know what I'm saying? Not only did he have money from the sale of the house, he had more money from putting a reverse mortgage on the house he was living in and did nothing to it. Put a fresh coat of paint on it and put some old laminate down, and that was it. So I'm selling it as is. And probably what's going to happen is because they gentrifying the West End too, a historically black neighborhood. A developer is probably going to buy it. They're going to tear the house down, build something up new for premium price. That's just what it is. That's what's going to happen. You know? Unfortunately, black people, they don't look at inheritance and generational wealth the same because essentially we ain't never had it like that.
In 3/4 of a mile, keep left.
You know? We ain't never had it like that. That's just what it is. But I don't put no blame on nobody. It is what it is. Oh, shit.
Keep left.
I don't put no blame on nobody. It is what it is. I want my own shit that I can pass down to my children, knowing the lessons of generations past. You know what I mean? Knowing the lessons of generation past. I mean, my granddad even told me that shit before he passed. He said, learn from the mistakes that I made. And he made a lot of them. I ain't gonna front, he made a lot of them. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, I just wanted to jump on real quick. Hey, everybody that's watching, man, hit that like button. Like I said again, I may start doing videos when I'm riding down the road this way. I think it's a lot better. It's a hell of a lot better. More straightforward. And all that shit, Straight, like I said, I like StreamYard, but StreamYard serves a specific purpose. And it's not to just go live. It's not. That ain't the reason behind it. StreamYard is there so you can provide information to the people in a lecture format. So I'm gonna keep StreamYard. StreamYard ain't going nowhere. All my MD Thoughtbox lives and all my episode TFP and all that still be in StreamYard. But I do think I like this format a little bit better, just straight up going live. All you gotta do is type in a couple days and hit play or hit live or whatever. So I think I can rock with this a little bit better. I can rock with this a little bit better. That's just a fact. So, shout out to everybody that's watching. Shout out to everybody that's going to watch later on. So, Blackson, again, I'm going to reiterate. You can't just ask a question cut and dry and believe that you're going to get a cut and dry black and white answer without understanding the complexities of the question that you ask, Which is ironic because you're the man who voted for the man that said no new order. I'm just trying to understand the reasoning behind the justification that, I don't want you to spin yourself into the ground trying to mag-explain, that's all. You of all people should understand the illegality of this. Because you spent most of the election cycle fighting against the very thing that you're now trying to justify. Yeah, I don't know if he responded. Blackson, man. Well, you say did he respond to me in what sense? Like regarding what? The Trump low prices, Kamala high prices. He ain't got no response for that. Well, actually, you know what? Again, because I don't want to troll Blackson. I don't want to do that. He already believed to me having a troll account. Which is false, but I don't want to troll them. There was a compilation video out. It wasn't necessarily a compilation. It was just one track, boom. This is what I said before. This is what I'm saying now. I was going to produce that video. I'm not going to do it because I think everybody already knows that once upon a time, Blackson said one thing when it came to gas prices. Now he's saying something totally different. So it ain't like I got to prove anything. The people already know this. They already know it. I went back and watched it. It was a video. I think it was an MD Thought Box Live video. It was me. This was a couple of weeks ago. It was me, Fat Cat, Jesse was on there, as well as Blackson. It was an MD Thought Box Live I was doing. Blackson said out his own mouth again. This was one of the things I was gonna clip, but I don't think it's necessary. Blackson said out his own mouth in 2022. Like let me not say a thing, because I got to go back and confirm that. But Blackson said under Biden. Let's just put it that way. Under Biden, gas prices had got so high. Damn, what? Venka, help me out. What's the date he provided saying that he was out of work? Was it the end of 2024? Is that what he said? I believe he said during the end of 2024, around September, October, around that time. Gas prices weren't even bad at that point, but just follow me here. Blackson said around a certain period of time, let's just say that, gas prices, in this case diesel, was so bad that he was out of work and he wasn't working at the time. That's what he said. I didn't coerce him to say nothing. That's what he said out of his own mouth. Last week, I believe this was last week, Blackson then turned around and said, in regarding the fuel prices that we suffer from today, that, oh, I'm getting so much work because they're trying to top load all of these loads on me ahead of gas prices becoming even higher. I'm getting so much work. Well, that contradicts what you said in 2024. It's a direct contradiction. So much winning, the old adage Trump says. You was losing under the same circumstances under Biden, but now you winning under the same circumstances under Trump. I don't get the logic, Blackson. I mean, I just don't get the logic. That's what you said. I didn't say it. It's the same circumstance. Literally the same circumstance. Even so much so, if we look at average prices with your timeline versus the timeline that we're living in right now, this is worse. We're looking at 2022, the start of the Ukraine conflict, breaking under supply chain prices right now. Toward the last quarter of 2024, we was on the uptick with decrease of prices. So again, you're gonna have to walk me down the street on this one, Blackson. You're gonna have to walk me down the street, man. You're gonna have to explain the birds and the bees to me with this one, because I'm confused as hell. We are at 2022 in the COVID, Ukraine, supply chain break levels of fuel prices right now. But it's so much winning going on with you right now. So much winning. No new wars during Biden. Justify the war under Trump. Close the borders under Biden. Well, let me give you a reason why we may need some immigration under Trump. Trump, low prices. Y'all say it with me. Kamala, high prices. I can't make heads or tails of it, y'all. I can't make heads or tails of it, y'all. Can you all, can somebody explain it to me? Can somebody explain it? I don't think a pound of ground beef was $8 under Biden. I don't remember that. I don't remember that one. I remember you used to go get a pound of ground beef for $3 and some change. Lord forbid if you get the 2 1/4 pack, the 2.25 pound pack. Y'all know the pack I'm talking about from Walmart. Lord forbid. That's $15. Sorry, kids, no spaghetti tonight. The ground beef is too damn high. It's too high. You know? We gotta eat the hamburger helper without the hamburger tonight, folks. It's just the helper part. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Again, let me reiterate, because I think this is important. Trump, low prices down here, low prices. Kamala, up here, high prices. It's as simple as that. That's what I said, Van Cat. Hamburger helper without the hamburger, just the helper. Just put on the box, helper. That's just what it is. So this is the time that we're living in right now, folks. This is where we're at. This is where we are at. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. You know? So I answered the question, Blackson. I answered it. Let me ask you a question. You know, and again, I'm not the guy to ask cut and dry questions. I'm the guy, you know, I'm a listener at the end of the day. I'm a listener. You know, I'm a debater and a contrarian. Blackson say that's the bad part about me. So, you know, I use the Socratic method of debate by asking a series of questions to understand where your head is at and what your premise is. You said, is this a legal war? I answered it. It was a very complex answer. My question to you is this a war at all? Again, I don't need nothing black and white. Walk me down the street. Just walk me down the street. Make me understand. Or, you know, or are we going to go with it under the premises of special military operation? Special military operation. Special military operation. Are we going to follow those lines? Putin done gave you the game. He done told you how to do it. done told you. So, hey, man, I'm going to leave y'all with that. Good talking, good talk, good talk, good talk. Again, like I said, I'm probably going to start doing my lives like this. Probably start doing them like this. I think it's more efficient to just do them like this. You know what I'm saying? But again, if I got the time tonight, I'm gonna still do a show. It won't be TFP, but I'm gonna still do a show. You know, so I can provide sources. And we're gonna discuss the ultimate benefit that Russia gains to get out of this whole situation. And why Europe is still in defiance, yet and still to this day, knowing that it only will be an advantage toward them. And yet they're still in defiance. Why is that? I'll show you why tonight, if I do the video, God willing. If I do the live. And of course, you know, if anybody's available on the TFP team or anybody else, we'll have up there as well. But yeah, we gonna get the schedule together when it comes to TFP. We gonna get it together, man, so we can do it more on a consistent basis. It's just like I said, man, work kicking my ass, and it's for no good reason. You know, I would feel better if I was on a set schedule. Boom, here go my trailer. Boom, there you go. Boom, here's my paperwork. Florida, back. Florida, back. It's always something, though, man. It's always something. So, there's that, folks. Hey, shout out to everybody watching. Y'all, before y'all go, man, hit the like button again. I appreciate it. Be on the lookout for more stuff, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video out, man. Let's get TFP where it's supposed to be at. You know, TFP is you talk about cut and dry. TFP is cut and dry. No bullshit. Not safe for work. We talking about the facts, man. We talking about the facts. Carlos, you said let us know. Hey, we'll see, bro. We'll see. But like I said, man, shout out to everybody watching the video. Shout out to everybody that's gonna watch later on in the day, man. If anything else pop up I need to talk about, I'll be right back up there. I ain't doing shit else. At least for not another like 4 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing videos like this. I like this format. I like this format. Hey, with that I said peace. And I don't even know how to get out the video. How do I end this, bro? Oh, wait a minute. I don't even know how to end it. I don't see. Oh, it's at the top. All right, y'all. Peace.